Welcome, weary travelers. I'm Gabriela Jones, the new innkeeper of the In Between, where the trees are green, the rooms are cozy, and the whole place is only a little bit strange. Whether you're listening for the first time or have been here before, come on in and prop up your feet, metaphorically speaking, of course, and pour yourself a cup of coffee. I personally am not drinking coffee right now, but a cup full of lavender tea since it's so late and I need something to take the edge off. In case you're wondering why I'm kind of whispering, it's because I'm recording this live right now and I don't want to wake anybody up. I hope you listeners will forgive me for this kind of unorthodox episode. I've never really live streamed before. It's not my style, and I prefer just having a little bit of time to think of what I'm going to say before it comes out of my mouth. To be honest, I hope nobody is listening to this. I hope you are all asleep or trick-or-treating or out having fun, and hopefully I can just delete this whole thing in the morning. But that doesn't answer why I'm here in the middle of Halloween night live streaming to you. And truth be told, I'm not really certain either. I think I'm just hoping by talking to someone, even if it's mostly to myself, will just help me feel better. Everything's been a little shifty lately. Not only has the weather gone from pleasantly cool to absolutely freezing just like that, but it's brought the rain and the clouds with it. I thought I understood what a cloudy day in the Pacific North was after experiencing the fog and the clouds this spring, but it's nothing like that at all. And the storm clouds are just like dark blankets of smoke that make the already short day feel like an unending dusk that then hides all the starlight at night. There are a few out-of-town guests coming in and out, and they are also complaining to me about the chill in the house and requiring extra bedding. And I don't mean to complain, and a little weather, of course, isn't exactly the reason I'm live streaming at almost midnight on Halloween. But, you know, there's that. Also, dog has been barking so much lately. Anytime the fog gets too thick, he just goes off, and what's worse is it's like the house has been kind of moaning. I don't know how else to describe it other than a low noise that no one else seems to notice but me, and I can't tell if it's a draft or something else, but it's a solemn kind of noise that for weeks has grown louder and louder at night. And sometimes I hear things right outside my bedroom, angry snorts and huffs, as if the eight-legged horse on the outside of my door is not only alive, but scared and in pain. Like that. Do you hear a dog barking? That's at least the 5th time this evening that he started barking like that. And I know I keep saying I'm not superstitious, and I'm not, but Nancy did tell me something the other day that's been weighing on my mind. On Friday, she was here for her bi-weekly supply drop-off, and we were standing outside commenting on how fast all the leaves were falling, when suddenly she went kind of quiet. Gazing up at the house and folding her arms, she said something like, I don't know, "It's a shame I won't be able to take my youngest grandsons here for Halloween." I asked her what she meant, and she told me that years ago, the Leake family used to hold an annual haunted house here at the inn. I think it started in the 30s, she said, something for folks to come and do every year. So I asked her what kind of haunted house it was, and she said, I don't know how they did it, but you'd walk through the house and you'd see things in the windows and mirrors. It wasn't scary, but it was haunting. And now, here we are on Halloween. And all day I keep seeing things in the mirror. I walk past a window and I think I see something in the reflection, like a face watching me, or a rat or a mouse or something slinking away, but then it ends up being nothing, just myself staring back at me. But I still don't look right. Sometimes my nose looks too big or too small, and sometimes one of my arms is up when it should be down and down when it should be up, and sometimes I can't look my own face in the eye. That's the one I dislike the most. What does that even mean? What does it say about a person, what they see or don't see in their reflection, what they like and what they don't like? My bedroom has a window facing the north, and I could turn around and look into it and see what I look like right now, but I'm oddly scared that what if I don't see anything at all? Okay, let's look real quick. There I am. I'm waving, but my reflection is not. She's actually shrinking, smaller and smaller, looking younger and younger. The rain on the window pane is fading away, and I can see purple buds. Oh, like hyssop flowers. Hey, that's me as a kid, and I know where this is. My family once rented this beautiful Victorian home as a kid, and it had this amazing permaculture garden with hyssop and lupine growing everywhere. My sisters and I would play in the trees, and I would hide in the flowers and pretend I was a pixie or something. Those beautiful, big purple flowers just seemed so tall when I was a kid, and it felt like living in another world. Oh yeah, I'd completely forgot about that till now. But when I think about it, that is actually one of the happiest times in my memory. I loved that garden. I dreamed about getting married in it someday. Mom and Dad, if you're listening, you remember that place too, right? And we were all so sad when we couldn't work out a way to buy the house. Oh, the window, it's changing. Oh, there's me and my cat. Her name was Journey. Oh, and one of our neighbors. I can't remember her name, but we all kind of thought she was, out there. She used to say things like, "Don't feed the demons" across the street. But one time I was outside and the cat scratched me. I can't remember why, but I still have a little scar on my arm. The neighbor saw it happen from the porch, and she put a little honey and bright orange calendula on a Band-Aid and then stuck it on my arm. Afterwards, she gave me a basket of onions and carrots and wildflowers from her garden to take back to our house, and my mom helped me look up the different flowers on the computer. I had completely forgotten about that. It's interesting. I always thought my love of botany came from this one time in biology class in high school. We were examining onion roots under a microscope, and you could see rows and rows of blue-looking cells slowly peeling apart, and it just amazed me how alive this little plant was. The same one I saw in my kitchen every day and never thought about it before. And that was just the most amazing thing I had ever heard. And that's when I knew that's when I wanted to work with plants. Of course, that was a monumental eureka moment, obviously. But now that I think about it, it was all those little moments that came before that made it so meaningful in the first place, right? Like if I hadn't loved the garden so much, would I have even cared about the cells on an onion? I don't know. Pretty sure this is the day after my very first breakup. Yep, it was raining and I went running. I almost got hit by a car and I just felt so, well, we can skip that. I'd really prefer not to think about it. So hopefully this goes away. I'm sorry. Okay, everything's moving really quickly in the window now. There I am pouring coffee at my last job. There's my graduation. There's the day I arrived at the inn. And now I'm walking in the woods, running in the woods. Whew, the window is growing foggy again, and there's frost gathering on the corners. It actually feels cold in here. And I see a horse running on water, 2 goats, one red, one blue. I see black inky mud that's slithering through the grass and eating all the plants around it. Oh, I see birds falling from the sky, and a mother that is not mine in a garden I've never seen. I see a shadow on a wall, a person changing from human to animal, and I see golden coins flying through the air and a dying cypress tree with little red mushrooms growing out of it, and I see myself again. I'm smiling, but I'm falling. I'm falling into a lake, and I think I'm drowning. It's like I can feel the water in my legs. Why is it so cold in here? Someone... Sorry. I just need to take a drink or something. I see a pair of leather hiking boots walking through a door and into a forest of sword ferns. They belong to a man, a young man with dark hair. Okay, he's walking on a frozen lake, as if he's above me now and I'm below and trapped in the water. The ice is distorting his face, but I feel like I know him. You know, like the way you know people in dreams. You can see them so clearly until you wake up, and then they become just a blur. You can't remember their face or their features, but you can remember how they made you feel while you were asleep. He makes me feel good. And he's reaching out for me like he's going to pull me from the water. And I'm reaching and reaching and reaching and... Oh my God. Oh, it's the cat. Oh my God, you scared me. It's just the cat. Cat jumped up on my lap. Hello. Everything's fine now. Yes, it's just me, myself, and the cat. Oh, shoot. I think we woke the lady next door. Well, that was something. Maybe I should have laid off the toffee apples I made earlier today. But you know what? Even if I do just end up deleting this, I will say that it was nice to talk through it, even if it's just to myself. It's always nice when you find good memories that you forgot, and it was interesting gaining some new ones, even if I don't understand them. But you know what? Tonight I'm not that worried about it. Because I might not understand it now, but maybe one day I will, because life is kind of funny that way. We live it forward, but we understand it backwards. Till next time, listeners, be kind, happy Halloween, and don't forget to water your plants. Gabriela Jones. Hello and happy Halloween. It's Bailey Loveless, writer and reader of Gabriela and the Inn Between. Thank you so much for joining us on today's special Halloween month Spooktober episode. If you enjoyed the show, as always, please consider tipping your Innkeeper over at Ko-fi or GabrielaInTheInBetween.com. Links in the show notes below. Not only does your contribution go directly towards Gabriela's student loans, but it costs less than your favorite pumpkin spice latte and gets you access to bonus content and keeps the show advertisement free. We are currently looking for guest book submissions for season 2 of Gabriela The Inn Between. So if you or someone you know writes amazing nature-inspired prose or poetry, please consider sending us a submission. Link and info also in the show notes. New episodes of Gabriela and the Inn Between released during the quarter moon phase, with the next episode scheduled for November 16th. In between time, keep warm and keep well. See you next time, folks.